Hello, Danesh. Welcome to
Hi,
Dramas and Dreams. I'm Srijita.
thank you for having me.
Thank you for giving your time. Dramas and Dreams is like this little but very passionate corner of the internet where we talk about films, movie reviews, actors, their hot takes, and basically we try to understand what goes behind the screen and what
hmm
goes the creative process of creating all of these wonderful movies and TV shows. Before anything, how are you doing?
I'm good. Contrary to half my face, I'm doing well.
Okay, glad
Thank
to
you
hear.
for asking.
Glad to hear that. First of all, congratulations on your latest music video. I heard it. It's
Thank you so
beautiful.
much. Yeah, it's a nice one. Yeah.
Yeah, and also you've once again you've collaborated with your co-star from A Suitable Boy, Tanya Manikala. How is that?
It's actually great because we're such good friends in life besides on screen, so it just made it fun to work with her. And actually made it easy and fun.
Nice. So, how did this project come to be?
The director of our music video, Astha Soom Sharma, she is the one and only person to give credit for it because she very particularly wanted me and Tanya to be in it. So
Hmm.
she worked her magic and sent us the song, had a conversation with us individually. Then we met her in person. And I mean, when she sent us the song and had the conversation, it was pretty much locked already. And then we met her in person and we were even more like smitten by her and her vision of it.
Yeah, it is a lovely song, and it's in fact it's playing. It's I was just checking out on your stories. It's playing in quite a few places.
Yeah, I was shocked too. I got a video of it being played in Arijit's concert in Guwahati, and that was pretty cool. I won't lie. A lot of firsts happening here.
That's great. So, talking about first, I did read up that you have like an education in acting beforehand, like you were doing theater in St. Mary's, if I'm not wrong.
I
And
did study there, yeah.
yeah, and then you also went ahead and you studied like acting in UCLA.
Yeah, I did.
Right.
I didn't study acting in St. Mary's. I went to high school there, and
Mm-hmm.
my seniors, who now run a very successful production house, they forced me to act, and I was super reluctant and stage fright and everything. But then when I went on stage, I caught the bug, and that just started it off. I did give up on it because I didn't consider it to be an actual career for a while. And
Mm-hmm.
then I came back, and someone said, "Why don't you try?" And then I went, and I was like, "Okay, let me study some more." And I went to UCLA for a year for it as well. Then
Nice, nice. So, how do you feel so far? I remember in one of your interviews, you had said that money is really not your motivation towards choosing your projects. And
hmm
uh, how does that, like, you've now had a couple of years into a run with the commercial side of the industry. So, how does that opinion hold, and how are you choosing your projects now?
I think that opinion still holds as strongly. I don't want to do things just for money. Having said that, you still have to make a conscious decision of what the project benefits you. Does it benefit you financially? Does it benefit you in like artistically? Is it doing good for your career in the long term? There's all
Mm.
these things that you have to consider, and sometimes you have to like make the right decision with the balance of if like you take these three criteria, which one is most beneficial, and like where do you put all your cards, in which bucket do you put yourself? So money doesn't decide it, and I hope money never has to be the reason that I take work. I hope.
Cross fingers for that because you have done some really amazing projects. Like even, I mean, everyone obviously had a huge crush on Kabir Durrani, and they were like half of the comments, even till date. Whenever I go back to seeing snippets of Kabir and Lata on screen, they're like, "We don't understand how Lata did not choose Kabir out of everyone."
Lata's
And
crazy.
uh,
It's fine. We've established this.
I see, but like Kabir does take a very difficult choice. Like when Lata asks him to like if they can run away, and but Kabir stands very like firmly on his ground. So similar to Kabir, like have any point in life have you taken a firm decision as opposed to like following your heart or following your desires, or you've decided that no, I gotta be more rational in this?
I have actually. So I learned one thing in college in India. Our HOD Mr. Sudhakar Solomon, he said this one thing to me and he called it the SHALT principle, which spells SHALT. So he would say you'd never make a decision when you're sad, happy, angry, lonely, or tired. And I try and follow that, which makes great sense because decisions based on emotions don't feel the same once the emotion has passed. Though I'm still human somewhat, so I still have made decisions which I'm like, shit, I wish I hadn't. And sometimes I make a decision with my mind, and I'm like, I should have just gone with my instinct. It happens
Mm,
to everyone. It happens all the time. There's nothing you can do about it.
that's true.
But I stand by them, most of them.
That's nice. That's nice. Also, how's your experience working with Saraka ji for Modern Love Mumbai? Because that story was one of Beautiful Wrinkles. It was just one of my favorite stories from the
Thank
series.
you. That's so sweet. Sarika ji she's too good, yeah. There's so much experience and so many things that I learned from her. The way she carries herself on set, the humility with which she works with anyone. And like I'm definitely not relatively a newcomer. I'm definitely a newcomer. So when the way the respect she has for everyone on set makes her a very, very, very fun person to work with. And she's also got a great sense of humor. So all in all, it was just fun to have. I've been lucky to work with very nice people in most of my projects. So I think yeah, Sarika ji is one of them.
Yeah. So, when you study acting and then when you get on the
Hmm.
field, it's a whole different ball game, right? Because then all of your theories are coming into practicals. So, if you would like to share some experience or something that you're like, this is something that you've learned on set that no textbook could teach you.
Actually, yeah, the problem with that is I can tell you something that I learned, but it still won't help anyone because they have to go through it themselves, right? Like
Right.
that's the catch 22 of this question. I've learned that what makes most actors great are the choices they make on set. And the reason that some actors make really good choices because they are confident in themselves and they're comfortable with themselves. And also, very importantly, they've been given the confidence by their peers, which is the director, producer, or other actors, to do whatever they feel like. You know what I mean? Confidence plays a big, big part in the choices you make on set, and you cannot learn that because that comes with being on set, and that comes with, in a way, validation from other people and some sort of success. So once you have that, and then you get comfortable saying, okay, maybe I make the wrong choice, but my director will correct me and it'll still be fine. Maybe I'll make this choice and it'll look great. As new actors, we're always in the mindset of, oh shit, will this be okay? Oh shit, will this be fine? Is this the right choice? So the transition from is this the right choice to it doesn't matter if it's the right choice, it's my choice. That's
Mm,
something that you cannot learn. And if I tell someone, they cannot understand it. I'm sure some people come in walking in with the confidence that they believe in themselves, but it's that balance of doing whatever you think is right and also what is required to push the scene forward.
that is true. Nobody can exactly teach you that.
Yeah,
So
get out of school and get working is my best piece of advice.
that is true. That is true. So acting, did it really happen by choice or by design?
I think a little bit of both. I didn't consider acting to be a full-time career or even any sort of career because I did theater in high school. I did a little theater after I did plays in college, but the goal was always to find like quote unquote a real job. And I tried to. I worked in digital agencies for a few years, not consistently, sporadically. So I'd work at some place, I'd freelance in one project with someone, and then I would run away and travel to different places. So I didn't have to like stick with a job or think about getting a job. Then I'd come back and start over. And then I remember the last job I had in a digital agency, I couldn't take it. And I gave them my papers. And a week after my last day, a production house which is a big production house run by someone who's was in school with me. They came to me and they're like, why don't you put your efforts into acting because we've seen you as a child. So they gave me that little nudge saying it was their design that why don't you put your energies into acting. So they helped me and sent me to an acting school in Bombay. Post that, I took myself to UCLA, and then I came back and Suitable Boy happened. So it was a design, but it wasn't mine. The choice to follow that design was mine.
Yeah, and I was also reading up. It was very interesting how you did end up getting a suitable boy, right?
Yeah, I think it was just luck.
Well, I'm glad you did. I don't think anybody else could have pulled off Kabir Durrani any better.
Thank you. That means so much.
Honestly, like there's a mix of like him being in college. There's a youthfulness, and then he also does theater. So I believe there was a certain connect over there. But
Oh,
then,
there was
like,
a lot.
yeah, yeah. So how did you relate to Kabir?
I related pretty strongly because I also come from a family of professors. My, I'm also in a Muslim family. I actually had a past experience with someone who, like a girlfriend of mine, where the whole Muslim thing played a factor also when I was younger. I mean, even in today's day and age, it happened to me. And I think all those things helped me because it was very easy for me to draw on those experiences because I had lived through them. And when I was reading Kabir, I was like, oh, I know what this feels like. I know what this feels like. I know what this feels like. So that helped a lot. Like I had my own a real life Lata, so to say.
That must have hurt, especially in today's day and age. You kind of expect things to have gotten better.
Yeah, it wasn't like it did hurt, yes, but it was more like what? We're not in 1947 anymore. Why is this a conversation? But as we know, it's a conversation that still exists in many parts of India. And unfortunately, it also exists in the metropolitan and more aware and educated parts as well. It's just a reality, but I think it was just changing and it still is slowly.
Yeah, that is that's pretty much true. So now there is like a boom of projects again, and like there's like just so much of talent around, so much of content around. So what do you think gives you an edge over your competitors, or I would say basically your co-actors?
I think there's so many factors that go into selecting someone for a job, and I think I was taught this in at UCLA. It's just a bad mentality, so I don't propagate it also. I don't think of it as a competition because once that role has been fleshed out, like you said, like no one else could play Kabir, right? So like once I tried for X role and 400 other people try for it, and if someone else gets it, there's a reason that person got selected. So he didn't take my job. It was never my job. So I don't think I have an edge. I just try to work really hard and I try to stay ready for whatever comes at me. And I just focus on picking the right project, hoping to be here to do this for a long time. That's the goal. And I think a lot of stuff that was shot during COVID is also coming out now. So even that, like it matters, right? There's a lot of stuff that gets made that takes a long time to come out. So sometimes it comes out within 6 months, sometimes it comes out 2 years later. So
Correct.
I think it's a good thing because there was a gap during COVID and it was horrible because we just launched Suitable, right? And that kind of kills your momentum, but now it's picking back up as an industry. So it's good.
That's good. Yeah. So how's it been for you to kind of like pick all the pace up again? Because as you said, your debut happened at a very crucial time in the industry.
Yeah, it was unfortunate because I think I believe momentum also plays a big part in this industry. And since Suitable happened during lockdown and everything was locked down and there wasn't that much happening, so like the momentum didn't I believe that it kind of dipped also. So we had to work, my team and I had to work really hard to build it back up. So that was a struggle. And but nowadays you have various other things like social media, Instagram, all of that also plays an important role in staying in people's minds, if nothing else, in top of the mind recall, right? So I think that's a part of the job which I had to learn how to embrace, which I still am working on. And that's how we kind of try to stay on top of things.
Correct. Yeah, because like nowadays, actors now seem to have like, especially creatives, they seem to be having, apart from working on their own craft, it's also to like market themselves on social media. It's become a part. It's become an extension of who they are.
It has, and I think sadly it's become more of a requirement. I wish it always, I don't always wish it was that way because I think it's not directly relatable or transferable, right? If you're great on social media, doesn't mean like I'm going to be a good actor as well. So rather for me, I think I can act, but I'm not great on social media. Like I was never a big social media person or never looked forward to posting things and sharing things like that. But I'm learning how to do that now. So I don't think it's always ready, but now I think it's more of a requirement because it has changed the face of the game.
Mm. Yeah, what you said was actually really poignant about like social media and talent, and then there's a whole mix of being noticeable and what makes you noticeable. Because it plays like this weird thing of like sometimes like what gives you recognition can sometimes compete with things that you've already done very well, but they're not giving you the. There's always that struggle of balance. It kind of
Hmm.
brings me back to one of Shah Rukh Khan's quotes that he had said that he does three films a year, one for Tan, one for Man, one for Dhan. And this
That's
year,
great. That's what I
yeah,
mean, right? You have to choose if it's financially beneficial or artistically, or if,
exactly.
like you real feel. That's exactly. I didn't know he said that. I'm stealing that.
He did- yes, yes. I mean, he said that because they were asking him about having three releases this year after like a bit of a pause. So,
Yeah.
has there ever been like a piece of media or something that has really inspired you or stayed with you or changed the way you look at things?
Yeah, actually, Fight Club as a movie, it's my favorite movie all time. But what I really liked about it wasn't like the fighting aspect. They have a lot of ideologies in there in the film about not being attached to all these materialistic things and such. If you like can actually watch the movie and get past all the other shit. So I think that made an impact on me at a much younger age, which I think made me kind of who I am today.
Correct.
Yes, yeah,
Did you see Bullet Train by any chance?
I did. Good
Yeah,
movie,
it was a good one.
very good
So like,
movie.
the minute Fight Club came up, I'm like, Brad Pitt.
He's
One
so
of
good.
he is. He really is. And I think also what he said about choices, right? Apart from
Hmm.
him being a really good actor, even his choices of late have they have evolved so much.
You know he's older now. He's not going to play the young hero, right? So and he's doing a great job of it. He's like, okay, I'll play these roles and be a badass in this. It's fine. I don't need to
Uh,
be the romantic love interest for the young girl.
yeah. So as I said, you've been surrounded by certain ideologies, like from Fight Club or from what your professor had once said. So, what is like this one motto or one thing in life that you absolutely stick by? Like that is your guidebook for whenever you're doing anything.
Oh, just one. I don't know.
Or top three.
I know I don't even know one. I think be the hardest worker in the room, which is something I've stolen from people who inspire me, and
Mm,
outwork anyone when you need to.
yeah,
Yeah, that's my one.
correct, correct. Yeah. So, like, sometimes in our interviews, what we really like to know is that we really like to know the person who's like beyond the actor, beyond the creative.
Hmm.
So, like, what was your childhood like? What was your likes and dislikes like? What all has gone into making Danesh Razvi?
Oh, my childhood was fun, yeah. I didn't have a problematic childhood at all. I mean, what's gone into making me now is a very drastic change from when I was a child. I was the kind of child I used to eat sugar and I used to live on sugar. Like I was that kind of child, biscuits and milk and Bonvita and chocolates and Coke and everything. And now I'm the complete opposite. I'm much stricter. I was a very naughty kid. I would cause a lot of entertainment, I want to say, for my parents. Let's call it entertainment. I had a great childhood that way, and films were always a part of it. My dad also was in theater. He used to perform. He used to speak at on the radio station also at All India Radio at some point. So I think I never saw him, and I never witnessed or heard any of it. I've just been told once I got into acting that hey, even I used to do this. I was like, oh, thanks. So it's in the blood somehow, you know. And my parents were both professors. That's the reason I grew up thinking like get an education, get a degree, get a job, right? Because that's what I was taught. Now they chill. This was who I was as a kid. This little person here is me, the one hitting someone with the cap. You
Yeah,
can you
yeah.
see that?
Yes.
That's the kind of kid I was. Everyone stands in a line and I do some antics like this. Or I used to pose for photographs like this.
Oh, I see.
Some of it's been there for a while.
Those are adorable photographs.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing them.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So so you said you used to like films since childhood. Can you recall the first film that left an impression on you? And it
hmm Chachi 420, I remember was hilarious. There was Chota Chetan, which was like a 3D movie, one of the first ever. I remember there was the scene where the sword comes at you, and we're in the theater and we're wearing those things, and it comes. I remember crying during the end of Titanic.
I remember being so disappointed when I was watching Titanic because like before this went viral on social media, like child Srijita is like, no, you can, both of you can hold into this.
Everyone was thinking, why can't she get it? Why can't he get on on the door too? I
Yeah.
also watched Life is Beautiful. That was a nice movie. One of my mom's favorite films. One of my one of my mom's favorite films is fine, right? Because there's only one mom. My mother's one of her favorite films.
I did
I
not even
lost.
realize that that's where your thought process went until you went into this. I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean,
It's
definitely
the
I want
it's pain medication.
pain medication. Yes. So to everyone who is watching this, Danish has one mom and her
One
favorite
her favorite film is Life is Beautiful.
life is beautiful.
Yeah,
So
and The Pianist.
that is a beautiful film. And it's really not about the language, right? Like sometimes people have a misunderstanding that only certain Hollywood films are praised as being great because colonial hangover or that it is made.
Mm.
But these films make you cry, and I think language or country is irrelevant.
Yeah, I think these films are authentic. Some films, like nowadays, we make stuff that we're trying to sell. Like we're trying to think of final product before actually making something authentic. You know, there's a lot of stuff that also comes out nowadays because there's so much coming out, right? And everyone wants everything to be successful. So it's more formulaic in some ways, where it's like if I put one, two, and three together, it'll make, six. While writing only, they're thinking that okay, this should work and this should make it successful. And some of the stuff that comes out now loses authenticity because of that, because they're just looking at the final numbers of it. I think there's some. No, I'm not saying everyone. I'm not going to name anyone either, but like I think some things are coming out that sound like they have been thought of from a formulaic point of view.
Yeah. So some things are coming out, but what is your next project? Where can we see you next? If you can
Nothing
talk.
currently. I am reading things right now and in discussion with some things and making a decision. There's nothing that's in the pipeline that has to be released yet. That's not been shot already.
Okay, what are you reading nowadays?
I just started a book called The Poppy War. It's a trilogy by
Hmm,
R.F. Kuang.
that's nice. You still have a very considerable fan base all the way from Kabir Durrani, which is I think very interesting to see how characters live in people's minds.
Yeah,
And
I'm thankful to them and grateful because yeah, I see comments sometimes saying Kabir, especially on this music video. I saw some, and of course, not like it was bound to happen. We knew that preemptively that it's going to be a lot of like the Lata Kabir thing because there were other projects that we both came across that tried to have us pair with each other. So there were quite a few in the middle. This is the first one where all the everything fell into place and it clicked. And it's a great one because Arijit Singh's song is Arijit Singh's song, you know, like his voice is amazing.
I mean, thank you so much for giving your time, Danesh. Like, really, it
No, my
was,
pleasure.
and we hope to see you soon and chat with you again.
I hope so too. Thank you so much for having me and speaking with me.